Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Revenue Cycle Decoded podcast. I am your host, Gina Cornett. Today, we are going to talk about something that is essential for everyone who is in revenue cycle management or practice management, or if you are in a hospital, department management, and that is how to analyze collections like a pro. So, if you are a mid career revenue cycle professional, or you are a practice or department manager and you're trying to improve your collections and dig deeper into your data, then this video is for you. A report that provides a snapshot of collections for your organization gives you an insight into your organization's financial health and the health of your revenue cycle. And there is so much that you can uncover if you know what to look for. So I'm going to walk you through some steps for analyses that you can perform, including the calculations and then insights that can be reported. So let's get started. Let's start with step one, which is calculating some key metrics. Before diving into the details, these basic metrics are going to give us a high-level overview of your organization's or your department's collections performance and highlight any red flags. First of all, you are going to need a report either from your organization or from your practice management system that is going to give you some details. And the information that you're going to need is all of the accounts within a certain period of time, and you can filter for whatever period of time you want to look at. You're also going to need to know the payers, primary, secondary, tertiary, if there is one. You may need to know the CPT and HCPCS codes. You need to know the date billed. If it has been paid, you need to know the date that it was paid. You need the amount billed, total charges, and total payments. And then you are going to need to calculate from that a collection rate, and your practice management system may do that for you. So many practice management systems can go ahead and run different reports and can perform different calculations. And you may have a dashboard in your system that will give you some of these numbers, but if you don't, and you can pull the metrics that I just described into an Excel file, then you can do the calculations yourself. So the first one is your collection rate. And essentially, this is your percentage of billed charges that you've collected so far. So the collection rate is going to equal your total payments divided by your total charges times 100. And that's going to give you a percentage. So that is the total overall collection rate. You can also do the same for each account. Simply by creating, if you're using an Excel spreadsheet, you can create an additional column called collection rate, and then you simply calculate the total payments you received on that account divided by the total charges times 100, and that will give you the percentage by account. Now, this metric gives us a sense of how effective our collection percentage is overall. A low collection rate could indicate issues with payer denials or delays in patient collections or higher than expected adjustments. So you do want to try to calculate this rate and then compare it to historical data, or if there are industry benchmarks for your particular specialty, you can do that as well. But it is going to be dependent on how you set your fee structure. So if you have a very high multiple of the Medicare physician fee schedule rate or the APC rate, then your collection rate may actually look kind of low. And vice versa, if your multiple is very low, then your collection rate may look very high. So just keep that in mind. But if it is lower than you expect, then this is something that you could flag for investigation and help you to identify specific areas where your collections might be falling short. The next step is the adjustment rate, and this is the percentage of charges that have been adjusted off, either due to contractual allowances or write-offs. And you can dive deeper into the details if you want to get your specific contractual allowance rate or your write-off rate. So your adjustment rate is going to equal your total adjustments divided by your total charges times 100. And again, if we were looking just at write-offs, we would take that number and divide it by total charges. So there are adjustments that are expected. We have contracted with our payers for the rates that they're going to pay us, which is almost never going to be our sticker price, right? So our adjustments are expected, but if it's really consistently higher than we expect it to be, then there could be issues with our payer contracts or with our billing practices or with denial. So we want to track adjustments and identify if they're in line with our expectations or if there are any unusual trends that we need to pay attention to. So if I were to see a spike in adjustments, I'd review the type of adjustments that are being made and then check if they are aligned with the contract terms for that payer. So you can go down to the payer level on your adjustment analysis. And this ensures that we're not leaving any revenue on the table due to billing errors or contract misunderstandings. The next thing to calculate would be outstanding balance rate, and this is the charges that are still not paid. So this is going to be your outstanding balance, is going to be your total balance due divided by your total charges times 100. And this rate is going to help us understand how much revenue we still have sitting out there in accounts receivable and whether there's a backlog in collections. If that outstanding balance rate is high, it could indicate that we need to follow up more aggressively or really focus on specific accounts to prevent balances from aging too far. So high outstanding balances would be a red flag and would need to dig deeper and understand which accounts or which payers are contributing the most to those balances. So now that we have a good picture of the basics, it's time to dive deeper and look for patterns in the data. So let's look at payer performance. By analyzing collections from primary and secondary payers, I can look at which payers are performing well and which payers are causing delays. So if a certain payer consistently has high balances due to frequent denials, it could be a sign that we need to address the issues with that patient, that payer, or conversely with our providers if they're documenting or performing services that aren't going to be covered. So if I see a trend of delayed payers from certain payers, I would bring this up with my manager and suggest prioritizing these accounts or reviewing our contracts with those payers because that can lead to faster collections and fewer bottlenecks. And then I would look at aging trends. So even if the report doesn't specify a specific aging field, I can still get a rough analysis based on the date of service and segment accounts by age. So 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60 days, 61 to 90 days, 91 to 120 days, and over 120 days. So I can quickly see which balances are overdue. Accounts that are 60 or 90 days overdue become increasingly more difficult to collect. So I would flag those for follow-up. A high percentage of aged accounts might indicate a need to adjust the follow-up processes or maybe dedicate more resources to collections. An aging analysis really helps us to keep accounts from slipping too far behind. And we should have a process that we're following to identify those accounts that are older and higher balance and prioritize which ones our AR folks are going to work on. Then you can also break out your total payments by payer type, such as commercial insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, and self-pay. And this helps us to understand which payer types contribute the most to collections and which ones may need more attention. So self-pay accounts are probably an issue for everybody. If they have a high balance due, because this could mean that our patients are struggling to pay or they need additional support, or we may need to be collecting more upfront and not relying on back-end collections. So in this case, you may need to consider payment plans or financial counseling for these patients to help improve those self-pay collection rates. Once you have analyzed the data, you're going to want to put together a report for your management. And so here is what to focus on. Summarize your key metrics, your collection rate, adjustment rate, outstanding balance. That will give your management a quick snapshot of overall performance and helps to set benchmarks. And then highlight payer-specific trends, focusing on any payers that have high outstanding balances or frequent denials. And if there are certain payers that are consistently problematic, you can suggest strategies like prioritizing follow-up or revisiting their contract terms. And then share insights from the aging analysis. So any significant number of accounts that are over 90 days old that are at risk of becoming uncollectible. And for that, you may recommend additional staffing or some process changes to work on those aged accounts. And finally, you can present payer type performance insights. So if you are seeing any trends like self-pay accounts lagging in payments, you can suggest strategies for improvement, such as financial counseling or flexible payment options for patients. It's really going to depend on which payer types you are struggling with and which trends you are seeing. The last step is to provide actionable recommendations. So maybe that's recommending or assigning dedicated staff to focus on accounts over 60 days old. Because while they're challenging to collect, that could overall improve your bottom line with timely follow-up. You may have specific payer strategies for your payers that are always underperforming. You may allocate resources to follow up with them more frequently, and you may tailor your approach to different payers to improve your collection rates. You may set up monthly reviews of adjustments to make sure that they're necessary and that they're aligned with the goals of your organization. If you are frequently adjusting for things that are not contractual adjustments, if you're writing off a lot of accounts, that can be a flag. So stay on top of those. And then for self-pay accounts with outstanding balances, offering payment plans or financial counseling, more supportive approach may help to improve those collections. So there is a process for you for helping to analyze your collections and make recommendations based on what you find. Start with those key metrics, dive into your payer patterns and your aging trends, and report out your findings. Recommend actionable steps. This will help your organization to make data-driven decisions, improve your collection rates, and support your organization's financial health. If you want to dive deeper into revenue cycle analytics, consider joining my Revenue Cycle Bootcamp. This course is packed with insights on everything from report analysis to advanced collection strategies, and it's designed to give you the skills that you need to excel in revenue cycle management. We'll dive into techniques for analyzing reports, identifying trends, and developing strategies to optimize collections. So whether you're a mid-career professional or looking to take on a more analytical role, or whether you're a job seeker interested in revenue cycle, this course will give you the tools to stand out. So see the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what's one area of collections that you would like to improve. I would love to hear from you. Remember, understanding the story behind your collections is the key to making an impact. Until next time, peace out.